Hi, my name is Josh Bachynski and welcome to a session of Mastering Google SEO for 2012. This is a special SENUX SEO video series that I'm putting out about once per month. Before we get to the video, I'd like to introduce myself. I've been doing IT for about 20 years and SEO for about 12 years, first in the PHP CMS markets, moving through real estate, and lately in the affiliate health networks. I have a master's degree in normative information systems and rational decision theory. I'm a special SEO consultant for SENUX, and I'm the SEO team lead for Cell Health Affiliate Network. If you have any questions about the video, you can ask them on Twitter, and you can find me at Josh Bachynski. And of course, I'm the presenter and creator of Mastering Google SEO for 2012. So let's get to the video. 2011 saw a lot of major changes in SEO. The standard on-page and off-page models of SEO was changed by Google adding usage being important. Not only that, but Google also made changes into the on-page and off-page models. For example, it's now important that your content be at least 50% unique. It's important that, of course, you have the exact match keyword or some partial match variation in your titles. The meta description is still important, not for SEO per se, but for your click-through rate from your search page snippet. The better the billboard, so to speak, you have on that page, the more people will click through in theory. And of course, they made an update to the freshness algorithm, where queries that are relevant and topical are going to be, pages that serve that content are going to be pushed higher up to the top. So you have to make sure that your pages are fresh, so to speak, that they're updated on a regular basis. On the off-page side, geolocation has, probably always will be from now on, very important. You have to make sure that your content speaks of the location that you want it to be related to, but not only that, studies have found that actually serving your site from an IP address in the geographic location of your target users can also be important. Links are important as well, of course. You want quality links, editorial preferably, from used pages, and that's what we're going to talk about today with advanced linking. Mentions are also important. If your whatever.com site is also mentioned in relation to some text, this also builds a synonymous relationship with Google in your semantic index and can also help you rank as well. Not as good as links, of course, but still not to be ignored. And lately, Google is using what they call social signals, specifically their own social signals from Google+, circles, and +1s. They use this both for blended users and non-blended users. That means for users who are logged into a Google account, but even for users who are not. Studies have shown that this will still affect rankings as well. And of course, in 2011, they added the Panda algorithm, which I'll be talking about in a second. But just to go over quickly now what that added in terms of basic SEO, it means that your SERP click-through rate is now important. The SERP click-through rate is the percentage of clicks you get from the search engine result position page. Google, of course, knows very well what percentage on average a number 2 spot or number 4 spot should get. And so if you're below average, they're going to track that, as well as if you're above average. Also, very important, in fact, probably the triggering factor for Panda, in my opinion, is the bounce rate. Whatever your bounce rate is from the SERP page, when they go to your page and they bounce back, how many seconds does that take? Are 80% of people bouncing back to the SERP page in 10 seconds? That tells Google that your page is probably not very useful. Also, the percentage of new users could also be tracked. The general thinking there is that the more returning users you have, the more quality, the higher quality your site is, the more useful it is. And finally, the average time on site or the average time on page could also be tracked and used as well. These factors are very important in terms of the new usage metric that Google is using for 2012. Okay, so the dreaded Panda algorithm update for 2011. Panda was an algorithm intended to find what's called spam content. Well, what is spam content, you ask? Well, as far as Google is concerned. Well, as far as Google is concerned, spam content is what they would consider a shystery sales page. A page that is less than a brochure site. It provides no real useful content. It provides no helpful information. So, Panda was intended to find these pages, and there's only so many metrics they can use to do that. Now, I've already covered a few of them in terms of bounce rate. I think that's probably, in my opinion, the most important one. That's how they trigger it. There's other things that you can watch out for in terms of mastering Google and doing SEO for 2012. First, you can make sure that your content isn't spun professional. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean spun professional text is text that is unprofessional because the writer, whether it was a computer program that spun the text or a human being, didn't have good grammar. I think they're using this in the Panda algorithm. Furthermore, as I already mentioned, duplicated content is very important. Now, everybody knows this, but not everyone realizes that it's not only just for the entire page duplicated, but it's snippets of text as well, paragraphs of text that are duplicated as well, in terms of like product page boilerplate content as well. And my experiments have shown that you have to have at least more than 50% unique. I prefer it to be 60% unique, in fact. My experiments have shown that Panda and PageRank trade sites back and forth. For example, you could just have a little bit of spun professional text and no other Panda problems per se, but Panda or Google still finds you and penalizes you. How or why? Well, because you could also have something like, for example, in the PageRank algorithm side of things, you could have what's called truncated PageRank, where all of your PageRank is coming from the Tier 1 level, or 60% of it or more is coming from the Tier 1 level. That means that your backlinks don't have backlinks. That means that they're just probably spam pages that have been used just for backlinking purposes. So remember, it's not one thing here that's probably going to sink you. Although if you had a very extremely bad bounce rate, that might do the trick. Or you have no links, well, you're not going to rank. But it's going to be a couple of these things that's going to catch you. So how do we handle that in SEO when we're trying to master Google? Well, it's very simple. Just don't do any of these things. Right? It's very easy to build a page where that actually doesn't run afoul of any of these problems. Well, today I'm going to cover what I call advanced linking for 2012 and beyond. There is a lot of speculation in the SEO industry, and I'm among one of them, who think that Google is going to do for what they did for content last year with Panda, they're going to do to find spam links in 2012. And so I've come up with 3 main tactics you can use so that your backlinking pages don't get found by Google and your backlinks don't get found by Google, so you don't get penalized, or you have less of a chance of getting penalized, but your competitors do. And so when they drop out of the index, you're going to be right there to take their spot. So the 3 are this. One is, when you're making your backlinks, I would use something called rotating partial match anchor text. The anchor text is the text that people click on, that they can then go to another page. Traditionally in SEO, everyone has used what's called exact match anchor text. So if you want to rank for herbal shampoo, for example, you'd make 1,000 links pointing to your site right to the index page, herbal shampoo, herbal shampoo, herbal shampoo. This is very easy to find, and I have already seen sites being penalized for doing this. So I would suggest instead use rotating partial match anchor text. So for example, don't use herbal shampoo, don't use your exact match keywords, X, Y, Z, use just X, herbal, or just Y, just shampoo, Z, or a combination of them, XZ or YZ or YX, etc. The links look a little bit more what's called natural. And it wouldn't hurt, in fact, to add natural signals such as click here, or this is the best site for, or those kinds of natural signals into your links as well. Google spiders all of that information. And I think in the long run it's going to help you out much better than just spamming the backlink pages with exact match phrases. Not only this, but it wouldn't hurt to have a call to action. Instead of just having herbal shampoo, you could have something like go herbal, exclamation mark, get the best shampoo here. That's a partial match anchor text, right? Herbal shampoo are not beside each other, but they're still in the link. And it's a call to action, and it sounds natural as well. So I found using those tactics will rank your site just as highly, and experiments on the SEO Moz, for example, have been done that show that will rank your site just as highly, but it will be much harder for Google to find. And I would suggest, finally on that point, not to use the same phrase any more than 20 or 30%. The only phrase you should be using is your brand phrase. So if you sell Josh's Herbal Shampoo, then you could have a bunch of links that say Josh's Herbal Shampoo, but even then you're risking it. But finally, if you have herbalshampoo.com, you want to build links, that would be fine as well. And of course, as I mentioned, you don't want to build them all to the index page. You want to do what's called deep linking. And my general rule of thumb is you want to have 40% to the index page and 60% to deep link pages. Using rotating partial match anchor text, that'll be much more natural and much harder to catch. Okay, the second one is link spikes. Link spikes are very simple for Google to find. Let's say you get 5 backlinks a day, 10 backlinks a day, and all of a sudden you get 20,000 backlinks a day. This is very easy for Google to spot, and they say, what the heck is going on here? Now, of course, if you're just doing this and you have no other problems whatsoever, Google may allow it. And don't forget, those 20,000 comment links you buy on Fiverr, for example, only about 1,000 of them ever get spotted by Google in the research that I've done. About 500 to say 800 of them are devalued right away anyway because they're comment links and they do a screen scrape and they can tell if it's a footer link, if it's a side nav link, if it's a comment link. All those links are devalued anyway. So, you get what you pay for, right? If it's only $5, then that's how much those links are worth. There's actually a bigger problem is that when they see there's a huge link spike like that, that can actually get you penalized if you have any of these other problems going on because that screams spam tactics, right? So how do you avoid not getting penalized for link spikes? Well, it's very simple. Don't do that, right? All you have to do is drip your links, so instead of getting this up and down, you just want a slow, gradual build like that. That way, you get to build your links and slowly incrementing over a month, and you won't get any possible penalty for that. Now, how many links, Josh, should I build? Well, the general rule of thumb that I use, and some might contest me on this, but the general rule of thumb that I use is you don't want to build any more links to your site per month than you have unique visitors per month, per page. So, for example, you have a 10-page site, and let's say it's new, it only gets 30 unique visitors per month. Well, then you don't want to build any more than 300 links maximum per month. Say about 10 links a day. And I would vary that between 5 and 12, let's say, for example. That way you have a slow increment and you don't get all of a sudden 5,000 links a month to a brand new site that Google can tell no one is going to and everyone is clicking away from, right? They're using machine learning in their algorithms now, so they're looking for correlations. And in this case, correlation will become causation because they're going to see, oh, you've got 3 strikes against you, penalty. Okay, and so the last thing we're going to talk about today is, again, the return of Panda, or the son of Panda if you prefer. For 2012, I suspect that they're going to continue using the Panda algorithm to keep finding backlink pages that are what they consider spammy and remove them from your backlink profile. Now, I've already seen this in effect, and I've seen sites in the later half of 2011 already get affected by their backlinking pages being removed from the index. So, again, what we need to watch out for Panda is spun professional text and duplicate content. So how do we avoid it? Well, if we can avoid our backlinking pages being removed out of the index and considered a spam page by making sure that the text that's on it is above at least a grade 8 reading level. I would prefer a grade 12 reading level. So you're well above board when Google uses that in their Panda algorithm. Also, as also mentioned, I would make sure that that page, if you're spinning it, if you're using spinning software to create a version of it, or if you're getting it written by somebody else, check it and copyscape the final version, the final product, and make sure that it's at least 50% unique. I would prefer 60% unique, because in my tests I found that most spun content, no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you do it, usually is only about 50% unique. So I would try to go for 60% if possible. And there's going to be future Mastering Google sessions where I'm going to show you tips and tricks on how to do that. Why would you want to do that, Josh? Well, this is the reason why. Because my tests have also shown if you have 100 Tier 1 backlinks and 14 of them get spam flagged, you can also are in danger of getting a spam flag to your main site as well. And how do you tell you have a spam flag? Well, you'll notice that your page rank is suddenly become unranked the next time they do a toolbar update, or I've even seen it happen actually right away. Or the next time they do an update, the page rank can go down. The page rank can be much lower than another SEO score called Moz rank, so you can check that. And not only that, it can be set to 0. There's 2 other ways you can test to see if you've been penalized. The first is by searching for your URL in Google. A site should always rank #1 for its URL. If it doesn't, you probably have some kind of a penalty. Not only that, check for your title for your index page. So whatever the title is, the full title, Herbal Shampoo, Buy Your Herbal Shampoo Here 2012, search for that whole thing and see where you show up in Google. If your title is unique enough and you're not in a very competitive market, you should show up at least in the top 50 spots. If you don't show up in the top 50 spots or top 100 spots for your own unique title tag, the whole thing, then you can even search it in quotations as well to be absolutely sure, then it's more than likely you have some kind of penalty going on. The in-depth way of shaking off a penalty is to be covered in future sessions, but for now I would say don't get the penalty. Follow these tactics that I've listed here that I will keep listing month after month to help you master Google, and you won't get a penalty to begin with, because once you got one it can be difficult to get rid of it, but not impossible. There's other tactics that I will cover later on, but if you follow these things you should either be able to avoid a penalty or to shake one off. So thanks very much for joining us today on Mastering Google for SEO for 2012. We'll see you again next time.